There we go. Welcome everybody to Launch Lab. Glad you guys are here. Just so you know, we do this every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, and it's great to have you. So if you're here with us live or you're just watching the replay, really grateful for you to be a part of this. The whole purpose for us doing this is to really empower you to understand, how everything works. It can be a little bit confusing when you start with X39. You want to build your team, you want to get to team manager. The whole idea here is, I'm joined by my wife, Melissa Kedia, and Alex Sabatili-Rager, who both are very diligent at this business, have been through it, especially Alex. She's been with the company close to 3 years now. The two of them have a lot of experience, and the idea of this call is really to help you guys and answer all the questions that you might have. Maybe the person that up above you doesn't have the answers. The whole idea is that you can come here, use this as a resource, and really get your questions answered. So just so you have an idea how the call works, usually the first 15-20 minutes, we have a topic that we're going to cover. And today we are going to cover a little bit about the back office and how you're setting up your tree. And then after that, we take questions. So I really ask everyone, if you're on this call, please throw a question in the chat. Even if it's the simplest thing, it really helps educate other people, and it helps us share the ideas that everyone wants to learn about. So if you have a moment, jump on there, everyone. If you put a question in, and then if you hear anything else, just throw a question in there, and it really gets a conversation going, and we can help support you guys the best way possible. So let's jump into it. Alex, I know you're going to pull the whiteboard out tonight for us and show us how the tree works. So take it away.
Hey, y'all. So, well, first, there's a question that's related to this. And so if you wouldn't mind asking that main question and who it was from, so she knows that this is where to kind of pay attention.
Yeah, this was from Sylvia. I looked into my back office, into the back office, and he has 2,398 LV. I don't know anything about how the points work. Where can I find more information?
Okay, there's that
question. And then do you want the second part? Yep. If you have any video that explains in more depth about how the structure of my own binary tree, that would be so helpful. I have 3 golds on one of my shared legs, but it's tiny, and the other 2 on my paid leg. I followed one of the trainings you and Melissa have talked about, having a good business builder on the paid leg. So I have followed that lead from you. If you can share any of that, even going deeper, I would appreciate it. Cynthia. Thank you, Cynthia and Sylvia, for these questions. These are great. Alex, I'll let you take them.
Perfect. Okay, so we're just going to do a quick 101 on getting started and placing people in the tree. I don't have a sample back office to be able to do this. So basically what I do know just from the top of my mind, I'll just pull this up myself. If you are literally brand spanking new and you're just logging in, you don't really even know how to place somebody at all, I'll just show you how to navigate, or tell you how to navigate to the tree itself. So you can kind of find that little piece. Let me log in myself. I wish I had a new person I could just put in there that doesn't have anything going on yet, but that's okay. Let's do this. Okay, so, and then I am going to pull out my handy dandy whiteboard.
Yay.
Who knows what Blue's Clues was about? I had young children who used to watch Blue's Clues. He used to call it his handy dandy notebook, but this is not a notebook. So we're going to do that too. And we're going to talk about the basic structure. So when you go into your back office, LifeWave, backoffice.lifewave.com, to navigate to place your first people, and we'll talk about where to place them, you want to go, once you log in with your username and password there, you can also find your back office from your lifewave.com / whatever your username is. That's your website. You can go in there and log in as well. You want to go under organization and then drop all the way down to what's called binary tree viewer. Binary tree viewer. If you guys want to type anything in for little points, that's fine. That'd be great. Binary tree viewer is almost at the bottom of the organization tab. And when you click on that, you're going to see a little kind of tree structure. And it's going to have a little box on the top that's you. And then you'll see this little line and it goes down to basically when you first start, it'll be a box on your left and a box on your right. And they have a little plus sign in it because they're not occupied by anybody. Now, there might be somebody occupied in there, and I'll show you why, if you share an upline and they're putting people on a shared leg with you. But if not, you just know that that's you and your first two positions, and each one represents one of your two teams, your left team and your right team. So you choose where to place that person by clicking on that box, and then it's going to pull up which enrollment pack do you want to put them in. And that's how you get started. Now, if you have people already on one of your sides, then let's say you had somebody in that left side because your sponsor or somebody upline put somebody in there. Maybe there's more than one in there. Maybe there's a bunch in there. You want to navigate all the way down to the bottom of that same leg, that outside of that leg, in order to find that bottom left to place your person. So, or your bottom right, depending on what's going on there. So you always want to navigate all the way to the bottom outside of this leg or the bottom outside of this leg. So if you go on the left side, go to bottom left. If you go to the right side, go to bottom right. And you will see a little box that says bottom left, bottom right. And that's where you're placing them. Okay, so I just want you to have that little orientation. So again, go to organization, down to binary tree viewer, and then you're going to place your person on the bottom left or the bottom right. That's how you place them. And you click on the empty box. Don't worry about who's above them. If there's somebody above them, you're still the direct sponsor. So long as you're the one who logged in as you're the direct sponsor. So was that clear?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So that's how you navigate that stuff. So now I'll pull out the thing here and talk just quickly about that little bit of placement.
Alex, just one second. Just if anyone's watching and you have it so it's gallery view, you can change it up in the top right corner just to speaker view, and then Alex's picture will be a bit bigger, and you might be able to see the.
Oh, there you go. Is it too small?
More better. Yeah, there you go. That's perfect.
Which one is giving me this little glare here? I think it's this one. Whoop, there we go. The lights. Oh, the lights. Okay, so here's my good marker. Hopefully this is big enough to just do like a simple drawing, because we're only going to build to manager. Manager is 2 silvers on each side, right? Right, everyone? Yes, we all know this. 2 silvers on each side, on your left team and on your right team. So the first most important thing to know is, what team are you on for your sponsor? So your sponsor, let's say, is at the top here. Oh no, this marker's not very good, is it? Sponsors here at the top. There we go. That sponsor put you on either their left side or their right side. Okay, that's what you're going to see in your tree. You're going to be either here or you're going to be here. So this is going to be, well, at least from me, I don't know if this looks like left to you guys or not, but I'm going to say this is your left, and right. And there's a bucket that carries the points that are generated on this side, and there's a virtual bucket that carries the points on this side. So Sylvia's first question is, she saw points on the left volume side. Those are points that were generated from her left team, whoever was placed on that team, which is probably your shared team leg. And those points were being kept in here because whoever was at the top here is qualifying their business each month. And therefore they're collecting the points. They're not fleshing out, or they are fleshing out, and that's how many points are generating in that week that haven't fleshed out yet. So it could be either way. So we'd have to actually analyze your business to see. And but nonetheless, just so you know, that the points are going to collect here for the week. If you're qualifying, they won't dump out. If you're not qualifying, then they'll dump out, and then it starts over again. And what fills these buckets up are products that are being sold and whatever point value is attached to them. So if it's one sleeve of X39 and they're just ordering that on auto ship, it's 77 points going in the bucket. And if you have 50 people underneath here and they're selling all kinds of stuff, all of the points of what's being sold are entering the bucket. If you sell a silver pack, it's 154 or something, 65, I don't know, points in the bucket. And so that's why we stay qualified, because we don't want to lose the points. because we get paid bonuses when there's points in both sides. And every time that there's a ratio of 330 points on one side and 660 on the other, let's just do that. 330, 660, and that could be either way, flip-flopped any week. And that every time it hits that number, it's going to kick out a $50 bonus. So this could be way, way higher. This could be way, way higher. And every time it can chink, 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 it's going to chink, 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 like you hit the jackpot and start kicking out bonuses. That's the cycle bonuses. Okay. Just to be clear on that. Okay. So I'm going to remove that because that answers hopefully Sylvia's question or the first person's question. But in terms of placement, I'm going to turn this more into a V now instead of what it looks like in the back office, because it's just a little easier to see this to me, because your sponsor put you on one of these legs. And for ease of my drawing, I'm going to put you on this leg. This is you, and your people are, all your stuff is going to look like that color. That's you. You're on the left leg. Your sponsor told you you're on their left leg. So now you get to build your own tree. So you're going to place people here in this direction and this direction, and you have your own buckets here. Okay. The cool part is your bucket on this side, since you're sharing with your sponsor, anybody up from her or him that's up that same line, who's placing new people on their bottom left, because we always place people on our bottom left or our bottom right. For you, it's bottom left, bottom right. If anybody up here is placing people, then it's adding to your points. Somebody up here might have, they beat you to the punch and they put somebody in here. This person is an X. And oh, actually, they were really excited. They just got started. They put 2 people in from up here. So you've already got points in your bucket generating, and you haven't even started yet, right? You're just like on auto ship, saving your own, just making sure you're not losing points. And then you decide to activate and start sharing. And you want to start building. How do we do that? We're looking for 2 silvers on each side. The first 2 people that you bring in, we recommend that you put them in on this team leg, on the leg that you share with your sponsor. And the reason being, because you might quit after your first 2. You might have beginner's luck. This might be your spouse and your child or your best friend, but that's really all you want to do. And you just don't, whatever. Anything can happen. But we want 2 reasons here. We want your new person that you put in. We'll just say this is your team, just like you here, all colored in. And then you put your next person in here. Let's say you quit right there. You've got 2 on your left. This is your person and your person. You still need to put 2 on your right, at least at silver and qualifying to hit manager. But something might happen. You might just get taken out. Something happens. We just have to be realistic. Because this does happen sometimes. Somebody just wants to share with a couple people. Maybe they send you a couple referrals, but they haven't really activated yet to really build. We want these people to feel supported, number one, because they've got people above them and there's going to be stuff growing below them. Maybe some, maybe a little. It's okay, but it's at least they're positioned where that may happen. We don't bank on that. We don't rely on that. We just are grateful when it happens that people are placed underneath. And the other reason is because there's a momentum that's kicked in. And in a way, everybody on this line, this shared team leg, everyone's kind of kicking in their first people to help everyone. It's like a teamwork thing. And are you following that idea? Like we're all putting everybody on one thing first. So they feel supported. There's momentum. There's stuff happening. It's exciting while you're learning and getting going. And now you're ready to place your next 2 on the inside. And I say inside, it just means not the outside left or outside right. Your own personal pay. They call this your pay leg, or this is the leg you are responsible for only. Nobody else is going to place people in here. And you shouldn't place people in your team's inside either. Always outside left, outside right. So here now
can I just ask a clarifying question?
Yep.
So the 2 people that come from above you on your left side, those people are only counting for points. They're not actually counting for you to qualify for manager.
Correct.
Right? Just to clarify.
Correct. Yeah. Just points. Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
That's going into what's called BV, which is business volume. business volume. Can you even see that? Yeah, oh, that's lovely. Pretty. I'm no artist. So business volume, that's what gives you that 660, 330 cycle bonus split that we're looking for. And so this is the reason why we put people, I recommend doing this way. 2 here, then go ahead and anchor in your other leg, because now you're getting it, you're active. You're not just doing referrals, you're not just doing some family members and friends. Now you're like, no, I think I really want to do this. And you're actually thinking about it. That's when you put in and drop in and start building this leg. And then you can alternate for a little while. My goal always is 10 on each leg, 20 on each leg. Keep them as balanced as possible. We don't want to rely on our upline or that team leg, but we do want to contribute to it should it take off, because it can take off. Because you might find that the first 2 people that you talk to when you're really excited just jump in and get really excited too. And then it really contributes to that leg. And then you can really create where, like, this leg could turn into the 660 leg because there's more stuff happening there with team happening. And then this might be your what's called your 330 leg. So you start building this one more when this one's really solid and you've got a lot of people in there and it's good and solid. You just end up really focusing more on that inside, that pay leg. And every 330 points, you can start generating more volume, or you can start generating more bonus.
Yeah, and doing some clarity, Alex, the 660, why did they do 660 and 330? Was the 660 to say, hey, we're gonna ideally this leg's got to have more people because we want your sponsor or the people above to be helping you with it's a team effort, right? Versus, you could have 330 on one side and 330 on the other, but their concept at LifeWave was to make sure that people above you were helping.
It's actually what keeps the whole thing really, there's no free ride. We actually have to step up and become, in order to get paid, we have to build ourselves, and we have to build our own leg, right? But everyone, this sponsor right here, every one of these people are feeding their left leg. They have their own left leg and they have their own right leg above you that they're building right here. This is sponsor here. So they're doing both, but everything that's happening down here is feeding their left bucket, and then they have a right bucket. They may have more volume on this side. This could be their 330 leg. So it's split 2/3, 1/3 for that reason, because there's always going to be a leg that you share with others, and then one that you're responsible for yourself. So there's a team effort always, and we win by helping other people win. But we also need to grow ourselves and be able to sponsor and lead our own line as well, which is what makes it earned, right? But they can still, like, if this person or you don't necessarily feel like you have what it takes, that's okay, because this person is vested in your whole team. The person above them are vested in your entire team, right?
Yeah. Roger has a good question, actually. So he says, let's say the sponsor suddenly stops. Who will support the new people and the right leg?
Well, that's the reason why we want to put the first 2 here, because you might end up with 2 here and then 1 here. Like we had the one that said, I have 3 golds. She said, I have 3 golds. Like, that's great. And I don't know which leg, was it clear which leg they're on or what have you? It doesn't really matter, but a little bit.
She said she has, I have three golds on my shared leg.
On the shared leg, on this leg. That's fantastic. So now you just start focusing on your other leg. Make sure they're solid, they're plugged in, they're on the calls, they're getting the support, you support them, but now you focus on your other leg. That's what you want to do. You'll need at least 2, again, silvers qualifying. But if you want to get to director, yes, you'll need managers, and you've got goals that are set up that you can help them get to manager. Then over here, again, that's the next conversation for Leadership Lab, but nonetheless, so long as they're gold and they're active, then you're set on this leg, on your shared leg. What was Roger's question again?
Roger was just saying that, let's say that the sponsor suddenly stops, we'll support the new people to the right leg.
So now this person goes away. It won't be you, of course, because you're on this call, right? So this person goes away, and it's now it's a space that actually is not occupiable again. We can't put somebody else there anymore. So really, these two people are kind of stranded. That's the reason why we want to really make sure that we're solid enough, and we know we're going to do this as well. You know, we have a good sense of it, and it's okay if you're not for sure, but make sure that when you're here and your new people come in, that you're supporting your new people, or you know who can support them, or how to get them on a call where they can get supported, so that these people will be able to find what they need, since they won't have a direct sponsor. Now, this person's vested in their success because all of this will roll up to them, but they won't become their direct sponsor. Their direct sponsor is gone. So it's not like they have a direct enroll. Like, this person will still have a spot in a way, but they're not active anymore. And then they actually drop out and become a preferred customer, but you're like still in a way sponsored by them. I don't know the finer details. It won't really matter. You just need to find support. That's the whole goal. So if you came in and decided, uh-oh, my life just happened and I'm not going to do this anymore, and you were really kind to the team that you know, to your team in general, you would want to tell all of your team, find somebody that they can go to, or find the supports, so that they all know how to get support. I've had so many people come to me and say, I have no support from my sponsor or my upline or whatever. And that's why we do this. It's like, I wish I could support everybody. But this is the reason why we really want to be conscientious of that, at least when you're getting started, because you never know what's going to happen, and that's okay. And we don't all have a leg that does this either, you know, or you're placed over here and you don't have a leg that's super active, and that's okay too. We all need to build two legs, no matter what. So, and that's exactly what Onyx did. She said, be as even as possible and build two legs. And I agree with that. I will be honest, because you never know what's going to happen above you. This is just bonus when this happens. And when I say this, it will likely be, if you have your 660 leg, it's just because it's hard to keep up with that if there are builders in that shared leg. So that just can happen. But that can happen over here too. That can happen over here too. You might bring in a builder, and then suddenly this leg blows out, and the shared team leg isn't really doing all that much. That happens a lot. So you never know. You never know who's going to go. It's the ones we think will, won't, and the ones we think that won't, will. It's crazy. You just cannot make any assumptions.
So just to clarify, Roger's basically, he's asking, then those two on the right leg, they're lost? Like, I don't think they're lost.
They're not lost.
Yeah.
Eventually they roll up to the next person, and that person becomes the vested. They'll become like their sponsor, but I don't know how long it takes for that to happen, for this to actually drop out of position. Like, they can be inactive for a long time and not do anything, or they might just keep things active but not be actually working. Again, we just want to make sure you know where to get the support, which, Roger, you're here, so you already got that. But if this person completely doesn't qualify anymore, and they're in for 6 months or something like that, they revert to a preferred customer, and then the sponsor rolls up to the next person up.
Yep.
I don't take that to the bank, but I believe that's what happens. I believe that's what happens. They just move up.
Yeah,
so
I
this
think
is level one for that.
Yeah. Felicia was just making that comment also, like, rolls up volume and ignition. She's just asking, does that roll up? So I think we can get that clarified. So
all right. Does that help?
Yeah, that was good. Sally just had a quick question. I'm writing a new will. In the case of my death, can I include that my LifeWave business goes to my sponsor?
Yeah,
or
I believe it's willable.
manager?
I do believe it's willable. Again, go to them. I know the last company I was in that didn't have nearly this awesome of a marketing plan. It was willable. And as far as I'm concerned, and I haven't set it up either, because I do want to do a living will, but to me, this is my retirement plan. You know, single mom, all that stuff. Like, it's a retirement plan for me, because I've had to raise my kids, you know? So
yeah, you definitely can, especially if you set up an LLC. So if you incorporate it, any incorporation can be passed along in a will, so there will be no reason for that. I think it's just when it's but I think Sally's asking specifically, can you my LifeWay's business goes to my sponsor or my one of my managers. So
your business won't go to them.
Yeah.
No, you won't lose your business.
Yeah.
If you stop doing anything, and you kind of let go, they already have the points from your business, but they're not going to get anything else from your business. They don't get to generate whatever the business is generating if you stop working, because if you stop working, you won't be generating. So if you're either active or you're not. If you're not, there's nothing being generated, and so they can't take anything from you. Now, again, if it's willable and so on, I don't know the details of if it is kept alive or if it's set up where part of your income is set to keep it alive, you know, and keep you qualifying or what have you. I don't know any of those details. I think actually that's a very good question, because it would make sense to me that somebody passes on and they've got that set up, that part of your income would be what keeps you qualifying, you know. But I would imagine that the children would then need to step up to a certain level. I think that's how it was in the other company, that somebody needs to come and claim it, basically claim the position and keep it alive.
It's the same thing like any normal business. Like you can will a business to somebody.
But you got to run it.
Yeah, you got to run it or sell it. And obviously with your LifeWave business, you can't, I don't think you can sell it. So
yeah, I don't think they expect you to be a leader, like to come in and like be able to be the leader. But yeah, I think you might have to re-earn leadership levels of income, but I think the majority of it would probably still be there, at least again, from what I remember from the other company. Yeah.
Yeah, and Sally, the only other piece I would add to that is you just make sure that you in your will that you state that the business needs to stay qualified, and then put what that means to be on auto ship or whatever that is. So
it's on auto ship.
While your will is going through probate, it's just your business stays active. So yeah.
Lots of technical questions, and I know that's a lot for, you know, Launch Lab, but at least you have an idea of how to navigate into your first placements, and kind of how it's always the bottom left and bottom right. That's so important, because you see all these boxes and things and you start going around like, wait, who's that person? And then you lose your place. So go back to the top and then go bottom left, bottom right. If you go to the bottom right, click on the bottom right box, vice versa. That's it. Remember that and you won't mess up.
Yeah, Sylvia's just asking, is this all
explained
on Build 331?
Explained in Build 331.
I didn't do that training, so I'm not sure which one it is, but it should be in there. In the compensation plan? That's a good question. Take the order is step 6. Step 7, there's somewhere it's like place the order. Where's place the order? That's what I need to see. All right, I'll look for that. What's next?
Well, while you're looking for that, I'll ask Melissa this question from Alina.
Oh, I was hoping Alex would answer that one because I'm curious too. Go ahead, read it. Yeah.
What do you do with new enrollees, customers that are excited to get started and then go AWOL right after? I have the hardest time getting a hold of them, phone, text, email, and it's a number of them. They disappear and ghost me.
So are you saying, Ilana, that these people have already got the patches and then you're following up with them and then they ghost you?
She can come online if she wants to. You can come online if you're allowed.
Yeah.
Clarification if you want to, Ilana.
Yeah, she typed in yes.
So whoever's doing tech tonight, I'm not sure, but if we can allow her in, that would be awesome. Ilana.
Not letting me.
Okay. Anyways, but
there we go. I just unmuted. Yep.
Yeah. Perfect.
I'm unmuted. Okay, perfect. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So it's been kind of the pattern lately where somebody will be super excited to get started and I'll enroll them and, you know, hey, I'm going to be in touch with you regularly, at least at the beginning. I'm going to hold your hand and just see that everything is going well. Let me know when you get your patches, whatever. And then they'll tell me when they get their patches and I'll say like, you know, just a reminder, 12 hours on, 12 hours off, put some timers or put it by your toothbrush, you know, simple stuff. And then I'll try to get a hold of them maybe 3-4 days later. Hey, are you one of the lucky ones that's having great results, whatever? Sometimes they'll respond no, like a simple no, you know, and a sad face. And I'll be like, don't worry about it. You know, it's very rare. just keep it up and keep wearing it, and you'll see it's going to happen. Just, be patient. And sometimes they don't even answer. And then days and weeks pass and I just don't hear from them anymore. Even if I try to get a hold of them, how is it going? When I get to the 3-week period, 3-week point right before their auto ship is due, and they just blank me. Like literally, I feel like I'm talking to the wall. It's like text after text or phone calls or emails until I'm like, hey, I'm not trying to bug you. And I don't want to start telling myself stories, but I'd love to hear back from you and troubleshoot with you. Maybe we can talk about what's going on and see if there's any way we can make it any better, whatever. But I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is.
So I hate to say this. Couple things. Well, for sure, when you are texting, and I think this is just important in general, is to try to avoid yes, no questions, because it's really easy to just say no. So you want to leave it a little bit more open-ended. So if you're going to say, hey, I was hoping, if you're saying, maybe you're one of the one patch wonders, or, if you're one of the lucky ones, because I say that a lot. But it's attached to the question a little bit differently. Like I'm looking forward to hearing about if you're noticing any changes. Perhaps you're one of the lucky ones that feels it. When can I reach you? So it's more like they need to respond with something that's more than a yes or no, or just nope. Or, so careful in the phrasing so that there's more of an open-ended question for them. But this is the hard part, and I can feel it. And I think the reason why I want to say this is because I can feel it. So permission to coach.
Sure, absolutely.
Okay. So there's an energetic that you're picking up that you are telling stories to yourself. And at least it's feeling a little bit like it's coming to a point now, and I get it. It's absolutely not, it's not easy to not tell a story at this point. Like, why is it, this keeps happening, and it's happening with multiple people now, and now it's true for me. So that's where we need to start to challenge. Okay, this is becoming true for me now. Now I'm starting to expect it. And that energy is in the text. That energy is in the reach out, in the call. And I know this sounds a little esoteric because it kind of is, but it is just kind of what is. So what I would recommend in this case is to try to piggyback your follow-up on a really, really high emotion and a really high excited state. Try to know when you're in that place where you're just not attached to the outcome. You're just you're doing your thing. You know that you're enjoying this thing, and piggyback that message on that without needing anything back. It's almost like the neediness of the energy of I need to hear back from them is gone. So however it's phrased, it's kind of like, this is what I'm doing next. I sure hope you're one of these. Let me know if, XYZ. But you're just moving it forward, and then you're continuing to move into what's next. Who else can I help? The more people that we're assisting and moving forward like this, the less we become attached to feedback, to what's happening externally, for us to feel at peace and like we're growing our business. Are you tracking that? Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Yeah.
Okay. So the more we're doing to grow forward over here feels really good. You get a great response from somebody. They're excited, like you said in the beginning. Take that time to go, I'm so excited. People are getting started. I just wanted to see how things are going with you. So step it in right there. That's a perfect place to drop in with somebody, when you just got one of those new excited people. People are so busy and they're so stressed, and the world is weird. So we have to really honor that and not allow that to have us hold on to expectations. We only get frustrated when we are expecting something. And it's not necessarily, I'm not calling anybody non-integrous, but the truth is people will say what they think other people want to hear often, or they'll ride on your enthusiasm and I get caught all up, but then their life is there and their own frequency comes back and brings them back into their own reality. They don't always follow through with what they say. So we have to let go of any expectation, even if they said something, and still just treat each moment for each moment and try to meet them with your heart in that moment. And try to approach it when your heart is really full. That's the best way I can put it. Yeah.
That's good stuff. Thank you.
Yeah. You're so awesome.
No, thank you. Thank you.
Did you have some thoughts about that, Melissa?
No, I was curious to know what you were going to say. That was perfect.
Okay, cool. I was looking for something, but you know what? I do know that Kathy Rodriguez had done back office trainings and placements and all that kind of stuff before. So I'm not sure if those are still around. So
Yeah, they're around. I've sent them
they're still there, right?
I've sent them to a couple of my people. I can actually look through my phone right now and then drop it in the chat because it was really, really helpful, some of those videos.
Yeah, she really walked through stuff with shared screens and stuff. And I believe they are around. I just don't know exactly where they are.
I think I just YouTubed it. I put in like
I know it's in YouTube in
step
Life
by
Life.
step how to enroll someone in your back office. And then I found
There
some
you
videos,
go.
watched it, and that's how I found it.
Yeah. But in terms of the strategy, now you have the strategy getting started and then you just want to kind of try to keep it even. And you can look at your left volume and your right volume to see what's happening each week. And then the collective, what's happening, what's continuing to collect. What you'll notice is you might have a bunch of points in one side and not enough on the other side to create a cycle. You might have thousands of points on one side and 115 points on the other side. It's not enough for a cycle. You need 330 to pull out the 660 on the one that has thousands to generate the cycle. So you know where to place your people when you know that you've got that kind of a imbalance going on. But looking at your weekly is really helpful because you can see each week you start to see what you're generating each week on both teams. And then that helps you with your placement a little bit better than the collection part of it, you know, the part that's collecting in the buckets over weeks after weeks.
And
So.
just to touch base on that and qualifying, we've talked about it a bit before in the past, but so you've started your business, you're trying to get a minimum of 2 silvers on each leg. And as you're building, you qualify and sometimes you drop out. Like what's the strategy for both of you to make sure that, you know, that if they're not on auto ship, how do you make sure that you stay qualified? That because I know that's a really important thing moving forward.
Mhm.
So.
Yep. You can speak to it first if you want, and then I will.
Erin, are you asking how we stay qualified for team manager?
Well, no, like, yeah, for team manager, because, not everyone's gonna be on auto ship, right? That you bring in those four silvers or 4 golds or whatever status they're at to get you to team manager. You know, what's the strategy there for you? Obviously, it's to get more than 4 people, but just so people have an idea, like, hey, we're helping them try to get to team manager. What's your overall strategy to stay qualified?
For me, it's just following the build 331. I know it's just keep enrolling people. So I have a goal to enroll a certain amount of people each month. And that way I have people in at different times and some are qualified and active and then sometimes they drop, but I always have enough people that are active so I'm maintaining the team manager. And then just checking up and following up with people, knowing that I keep track of where people are at. So if I know they got a silver and they have like, they're in 2 months in, I'll reach out and just check in and see where they're at, if they're wanting more patches. Part of my strategy too is also so much series of exposure through social media. I know a lot of my people have social media, so they see a lot of what I'm posting on Facebook and Instagram, and that inspires them and gets them all lit up again and they want to order more. So that's also part of my strategy. Yeah, that's what I have to share.
Just to touch on that, and Alex, I'll bring it back over to you. But when you're, I know both of you guys talk about the X39, primarily when you're talking to people. Is it at the kind of like the 2-month, 3-month mark where you're gonna start, bringing in some ideas of X39 or carnosine or glutathione? Like, at what point do you kind of introduce those to help them kind of evolve in what they're doing, or do you just wait till they come to you?
I don't personally say it first. I wait until they get curious. Usually people are searching around and they'll find something online or they'll see something on my social media or they'll see it somewhere like, hey, I heard about these other patches. How come you never told me about them? Oh, well, I didn't want to overwhelm you. And I also, X39 is like the granddaddy of them all. Then they get to the conversation. Oh, what do you use? I'm like, well, I use X49 and da, 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 da. And
you should see me. You'd think I got in a car wreck.
Yeah.
Band-aids everywhere.
Yeah, I'm obsessed. I think I have all of them, but I don't use them all at the same time. But anyway, I wait until they bring it up to me and then follow their lead around that. And then usually people will come around and are curious about the X39. However, if they are athletes and I know they're performance people, I will bring up X39 sometimes right away, but I will suggest that they wear just X39 first for the first month or two, and then add in the other patches. So you can really see what X39 does on its own, because it does a lot.
Yeah. I'll answer both too, because so going back to the first question about staying qualified and keeping an eye on that. So I don't do the whole social media thing. So I definitely, I do the series of exposures, of course, but the place to look to see what's going on in your team, if you haven't done that yet, is you want to go back to your back office again and go under organization. And if you click on the second one from the top, it's called personally enrolled team. When you click on that, it shows all the people that you personally sponsored, when you ordered, which side they're on, if they're active, if they're not, if they have an auto ship set up, when that's set to go, all of that is right there. So you're looking for your 2 active silvers or above and 2 active silvers on each side. If you see somebody's going to fall out, oh, their auto ship's not going to hit until the 8th of March, like this one here, there's a little status, there's like a little yellow thing on it. I'm like, okay, who's that? Okay, I'm going to reach out to her. I'm going to just see how she's doing, make sure everything's good. So, and make sure she's ready for the next order that's coming, bring her another series of exposures, maybe introduce something else. If they don't have an auto ship, if they're like, nope, I don't want an auto ship, just I want my 3 months and that's it. I see that they're still coming on the end. I might call them up and say, how, of course I've checked in with them before, but I might call them up and say, this might be a really good time, if they're enjoying the product, of course, to bump up to gold, because you can get 2 months for the price of 2. You get two more months worth of X39, plus you get a bonus of one of our other sleeves. And based at this point, I know what's going on in their life, based on the fact that you're an athlete, based on the fact you have arthritic pain, based on that you're really into health and detox is something that's important to you, or you've been on a lot of medication. I might then introduce something else. That's if they're not ready to just get auto ship every month, I might bump them up to gold and say, all right, let's get an X39 and an X49, because then you'll be ready for that again in a month. We'll set up an auto ship, accordingly, and you can try something else. You can add this next thing, take it to the next level. So that's another conversation you can have if you want to bring something else in. And we have such great products, like the X49 really does. It's the other part of the copper peptides. It brings the genome even further up. So as far as I'm concerned, if I have an active customer and they're loving X39, I'm going to be like, all right, do you want to give it a shot for a month? You might then want to do both. And if they can afford it, then great. Awesome. Then they might do that. So that's another way to look at that. What was the other thing? The exposures. I don't know. I have nothing else on that.
I think you kind of showed the second part was, at what point do you start introducing your?
Oh, okay, yeah, they're kind of built in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, go back to your organization, check out all the different tabs. You guys like really poke around back there in the back office and see what's there. You can also pull up your whole downline and see what's going on there. And they're not all necessarily going to be direct to you. The personally enrolled are, but you can kind of, you can also go to the binary tree viewer. This is actually a really cool function. You can go to the binary tree viewer and then go over to the search bar and search for one of the people in your downline and then pull their stuff up. So you can see, because if you're starting to cycle, you can get paid the matching bonus on the people cycling below you, right? So you really have a vested interest in helping the people you've sponsored, the people they've sponsored, and the people they've sponsored, especially. Those 3 levels are like direct pay line for you in a way. Even though everybody contributes, those are the ones that you want to help really bolster up. I mean, we want to help everybody, but you know what I'm saying. Because those are the guys who, when they start cycling, you're getting 25 to 20 or 25% on their cycles as well. So you can keep a closer eye on those people that are closer to you and build that like leadership team of your own and start to, grab them, group them together, start doing events together, start doing trainings together to support the whole team. And it's so much fun. You guys, it's so much fun to do that. So anybody who's working, you can kind of pick them out of your team and then pull them up, but you definitely want to reach into those people that you are especially close to.
Just a few minutes left, guys. If anybody has any questions, please just throw them in the chat and we'll try and make sure that we get this call. And just if anyone puts any more, but just to ask both of you, that that call when you know that someone's coming up for their auto renewal, or they're running out of patches, like what does that conversation look like? How do you have that conversation? And maybe you can just share an example of it, like how you approach it.
I feel like
Melissa?
Alex did touch on that already. She was saying, hey, I see that you're, given that she knows that they are liking the product, she was like, I see that you're coming up to an end of your patches, and are you ready to upgrade to the next one, to the gold? And then she kind of introduced the other patches, the potential patches that can come with the gold.
Mhm.
Yeah, for me, I will do that as well. And then I'll also say, like, if not for you, I'll throw in, maybe perhaps for someone or for a family member, or do you know anyone else? Like, that's an opportunity as well. If they're not looking to get any more, like, look, this is part of my mission and my vision is to be able to share these kinds of tools far and wide. And I don't know who you know. So I would love it if you could, share that if you know anyone who might be looking for some support. So
Yeah.
something. Well, I say that.
Every conversation should end with, who do you know? I can't help, like you said, I can't help the people that you know without your help. Like, let me show you how to introduce on text, so people, so you can feel really comfortable and free to talk about, how things are going for you, and have the ear to listen to other people's struggles, because this can help so many people. And this is what I do, like, this is what I do. So that's beautiful, Melissa. I love that. And I would say the only thing that I might add to that is when we talk about getting organized and even just having a notebook, you're tracking all your notes of last times you spoke with them, and you should be placing, those sheets into the next date that you're going to, reach out to them or what have you. So you already kind of have a sense of who's where, what's going on, if they've been using it for a while, if they're using it regularly, if they're getting results, if they're talking with other people, it's all on their sheet, right? And so when that time comes, it's like it's an easier call, for one. Even if they've been pushing it off and pushing it off and pushing it off, you at least you still have notes, and you can call and know exactly where you're at with somebody, right? But yeah, the call really is just about, are you ready? You ready for your next batch? Do you want to get them in bulk again, or would you like to just get on an auto ship monthly? Like, what works best for you? Instead of a yes, no, it's more like, what works best for you to continue on? Are you ready for them now, or do you want me to push it out? Or, like, what should we do? So it's more like a this or that instead of yes or no. So again, think ahead about open-ended questions that lead people, maybe a little more direct. And then they might say, you know what, I think I'm going to take a little break or whatever. It's like, okay, I totally understand. I would love to keep your account active. When can I check in with you again? And in the meantime, do you know anybody? Right. So it's all left really comfortable, it's open. I've got a next touch with them. I want to check in with that. I have somebody actually right now who, well, not right now, but like a couple of days ago, texted and said, I stopped using the patches about 5 months ago, and I feel like, and I'm like, yeah. So I looked at his account and I said, well, we've upgraded all the way up to what was it, platinum. I said, ready to go diamond? Like, yeah, it's the best deal. You're going to save the most. And since you got off of them because of whatever. And he's like, all right, I'm getting my taxes back. Let's talk next week. Sometimes they have to be off it again to realize how much they love them.
Yeah.
So it's okay.
For sure. Guys, anything else that you want to touch base on tonight before we wrap it up?
That was jam-packed.
They're all good these days. I'm telling you, they're getting good.
Well, thank you very much, guys. Also, if you guys aren't aware, Alex does another call tonight here at 8 p.m.
That's
Eastern,
right.
talking about X39, and she actually also touches a little bit about on the business. So if you have anybody that's, you don't feel comfortable talking about the patches or even about the business side, this is the call that you want to get people on. So stay on, or just join, send this link out to a few other people. But yeah, definitely be part of that call tonight. And thank you, ladies, tonight. Lots of information, and I appreciate everybody being on this call tonight and the questions. So thank you so much.
Super awesome. Thank you, guys. Have a great rest of your night. See you in a little bit. I'm going to turn off camera.
Thanks, guys.
I'll do your little heart thing.
Yeah.
Love you
I
guys.
love that that's passing on. So good.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. And I will see you soon.
Bye soon.